The FENIX HM65R-DT dual spotlight headlamp is a new version of the best-selling HM65R headlamp with dual spotlights, hence the DT. One spotlight for cool light for longer distances and maybe seeing technical bits a little bit better, and another spotlight for a warmer light that's better in bad weather conditions like fog, rain, and snow. But how does it actually perform in testing, and is it any better than the really good HM65RT? Well, let's find out. Well, hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. First, I want to let you know that FENIX did send the HM65R-DT to me to review. They actually sent it to me for my Leadville race and a review. Shout out to FENIX. So be sure to look below in the description. There is a link to go purchase this if you want to go get this awesome headlamp. And as always, I'm going to share my complete honest opinion. And also I should know, if you see it has some moisture on it right now, it's because it is very cold. I just pulled it out of my freezer, you know, for science. So what all comes in the box when you order your FENIX HM65R-DT? Well, you get the headlamp, obviously, but you also get a 3400 milliamp 18650 rechargeable lithium ion battery, USB Type-C charging cable, spare O-ring, user manual, and warranty card, which is a limited lifetime guarantee from FENIX Lighting USA. The HM65R-DT feels to be a very well-built, durable headlamp, which is said to be 30% lighter than other headlamps made from aluminum, or aluminium as my folks across the pond like to say. The headlamp is IP68 waterproof rated, so perfect now that it's been in the freezer and it's thawing and it's getting a little bit of moisture, not a problem. And it's also perfect in all sorts of extreme environments where there's water, dust, snow, all of that. The headlamp has been drop tested to about 2 meters from FENIX, and no issues there in their testing. So if it's gonna fall off your head, you know, you're probably gonna be okay, not gonna damage the lamp. As I said before, the HM65R-DT is made for extreme environments. It can operate all the way down to -31 degrees Fahrenheit, up to 113 degrees Fahrenheit. To do a little test, I did throw it in my freezer like I mentioned. I actually left it in there for about 3 hours. Pulled it out, turned it on, it operated just fine, seemed to have full power, no issues there. Obviously my freezer is only set at 0 degrees Fahrenheit, but that's pretty darn cold. So one thing I also found interesting is that it operates up to 113 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very hot, but I know there's places like Death Valley, for instance, where it can be 125. So I just kind of thought that was interesting there. But certainly those temperatures are probably fine for 99.9% of users. Hey, real quick, be sure to click that thumbs up button down below if you are learning something about this headlamp, you're finding this helpful. And also while you're down there, click that subscribe button and that would help support the channel and just be really cool. On the top of the headlamp here, you can see there are 2 buttons for very easy and fast single-handed use. It's really very easy to operate. And if you put this tilt mechanism all the way down, you can see the USB Type-C charging port in the back with the dust cover and water cover. Make sure that is fully in place to maintain that IP68 rating. That 3400 milliamp battery can be fully charged from fully depleted in about 3 hours. When you put that battery back inside of the headlamp here, you can see by pushing the button, there is an indicator on the top as well to let you know if it is fully charged or what level it is at. You can charge the battery directly in the headlamp by using the USB-C port in the back, or you can put it in the standalone charger, which is available for purchase on the FENIX website. I should also note that just in case you're going to be doing something really long term, you can actually use this headlamp while it is charging. No issues there whatsoever. FENIX does, however, recommend that if you are not going to use this headlamp for a while, that you actually take that battery out of the headlamp in order to prevent any electrolyte leakage. One final thing about the batteries, you can also use the 3500 milliamp battery just fine without issue. The headlamp is attached to this wide perforated headband here that enhances breathability and actually helps it be a little bit more stable on your head. You can see the light really shines through that very well. It is pretty darn breathable, and it does stay pretty secure on your head. And like I mentioned previously, it does have the 60-degree tilt as well, so you can really get that beam pattern exactly where you want it. But by far the best feature of this headband is the Sport Headband Fit system here. It's very simple to use with one hand, even when wearing gloves. All you do is you pull it out like that, hear a little pop. You can adjust the length of that headband then for a very large head if you need it. But then push that in like that and just give it a twist and it cinches in. So you can really get the adjustability, the fit, very fine-tuned to your specific head shape. And the maximum head size that this sport headband will fit is a 24-inch head or a 7 5/8-inch hat. Overall, this headband has been awesome, very comfortable. I will say though that I did find that if I wear a buff over top of my head first and then put the headlamp on, it does reduce some of the bouncing, because it does bounce just a little bit. I mean, after all, this is it's a little bit of a heavier headlamp, which we'll get to in just a minute, but the buff definitely reduces that vibration and bouncing, and it feels very comfortable on the head, even in a 100-mile race where you're wearing this all through the night. And lastly, it is the exact same headband that is on the FENIX HM65R-DT. I did wear this headlamp all through the night at Leadville, wearing the buff underneath as well. I had no issues with discomfort. It felt fine and never once really felt heavy on my head. Speaking of the weight, the headlamp weighs in without the battery at 92 grams or 3.2 ounces. With the included 3400 milliamp battery inside, it weighs in at 143 grams or 5 ounces. This is the exact same weight of the HM65R-DT. There is no difference whatsoever. So it is not a lightweight headlamp by any means, but like I said, I had no issues at Leadville wearing it all through the night. The HM65R-DT uses luminous SST40 white and SST20 warm white LEDs with a lifespan of 50,000 hours. Plenty of use there for you. The white or cool spotlight has a temperature rating of 6,500 Kelvin, designed to really help you see those technical bits of the trail very, very well. Whereas the warm spotlight has a temperature rating of 3,000 Kelvin, which is really designed to help you see clearer in bad weather. Maybe it's rain, snow, fog, dust, really help you see through that a little bit and penetrate through that obstacle a little bit better. Another neat feature of the headlamp is the intelligent overheat protection. So when using this for an extended period of time, whether it's on high, low, or medium, it will generate some heat. If it were to get above 65 degrees Celsius, the headlamp will actually step down a few lumens to help it cool down just a little bit. And then when the temperature drops below 65 degrees Celsius, it'll actually allow the user to cycle through those modes again to get back to the full brightness. You can actually turn both spotlights on at the exact same time for a maximum brightness of 1500 lumens, which let me tell you is very, very bright. And if you're just going to use the warm spotlight on low, which is only 5 lumens, the maximum time that you can do that is 300 hours. You can see the full breakdown of the runtime, output, and distance on the screen. Be sure to take note of the runtime chart that shows peak output is very short and then it's reduced slightly for optimal performance. I can speak from personal experience at the Leadville 100. I wore this, the race started at 4 a.m. It was very dark. I wore it till about 6:15 in the morning, utilizing low on the white light, which is this one right here, and that is 130 lumens. I then gave it to my crew and they did not charge the headlamp, they did not swap batteries. I then picked up this same headlamp and wore it all through the night from about 7:30 p.m. till about 6:15 in the morning again. So roughly 13 total hours of usage on that one battery. The whole time I used it on low, the 130 lumen setting, and I felt that was more than bright enough for what I was doing. The trails out here in Colorado are a hard-packed dirt and rock, and they're kind of a light grayish color. And I found that if I went to the medium setting, which is 400 lumens, that it actually kind of washed out the trail and I couldn't see the rocks very well. So it kind of inhibited my vision a little bit because it was so bright. The low was more than adequate. It was really very, very good. However, if I were back in Tennessee, which I'm going to be in about a month for the No Business 100, I'll probably use the warm light, which is this one right here. I'll probably use that on medium or high because the trails back there are a lot different than the trails here. They're a much darker dirt color. It's not light gray, it's more of a dark brown. There's a lot more tree debris that has been ground into the dirt, some leaf cover, so that brighter light is probably going to be a much better option. As for operation, it is incredibly easy to use with one hand. As you've been seeing me do, you just hold the button down for about half a second, it turns on, and then you can cycle through by pushing it once more. To turn it off, you hold it down again, and that works for both buttons the exact same way. You can cycle through that just like that. You can also turn both spotlights on, like I mentioned, to get that full maximum output of 1500 lumens, which is just absurd. I wouldn't recommend doing that. But another great feature I like about this headlamp is the lockout feature. So if you hold the button down, any of the two buttons down for about 3 seconds, it'll flash like it's doing right there, flash 4 times. So now it is locked. You can throw this in your bag, your duffel bag, your hydration vest. You don't have to worry about accidentally pushing the button and turning it on. It's not going to turn on. So that way you're not going to waste your battery. When you want to unlock it, hold both buttons down for 3 seconds. It'll blink again, just like it's doing right now. Then it'll default and turn on to the low position on the warm headlamp. So the FENIX HM65R-DT retails for $146 US. However, right now, as of the recording of this video, it's on sale for $109.95. I believe that is an awesome price for this headlamp. This thing has just been incredibly nice. It's provided more than enough light that I need to run technical trails here in Colorado. It fits comfortably on the head. I can even put it through the back. A lot of the times at night, I will wear it through the back like this with the band under the headlamp, or with the band under the hat. And it feels very comfortable that way with the buff underneath as well. It's just an awesome headlamp. So be sure to look below in the description if you do want to pick one of these up. It is an affiliate link. It does help support the channel, but it does not cost you anything. Well, is it any better than the HM65R-T? It's really difficult to tell these two apart. There's a little bit of a different color around the LEDs here, and then obviously the nomenclature on the lamp. That's it. It's the only way to tell these two apart just from looking at them. And the color of the buttons on top. They're gray on this one. They're dark gray on this one. But pretty much it is the exact same headlamp. There's really no difference other than the type of LEDs that are used inside of the actual light. So the HM65R-T uses the luminous SST40 white LEDs, but then it also uses the Cree XP G2S3 neutral white LEDs. And that is for the floodlight feature. This one has a floodlight, whereas this has two spotlights. So really that is the only difference that I can tell from these lights. Same headband, same weight. So really it comes down to you. Do you want that floodlight pattern or do you like the spotlights? If you like the spotlights, then this is an awesome, awesome headlamp that I highly recommend. The only situation where I think this could be a little bit much of a headlamp is maybe if you're just running in the mornings before work or in the evenings after work, you know, an hour, maybe 2 hours. In that case, you may want to look for something like this. This is the HL32RT. It's a much lighter, little smaller headlamp, has that same headband system on there. Stay tuned, I will be doing a full review on this headlamp if you are interested. So like I said, click that subscribe button to be sure to see that video. But now I want to hear from you. Have you tried the HM65R-DT? What did you think of it? Did you like it? Have you tried the RT as well? And did you think it was any better? I really like this headlamp and I will definitely be using it at the No Business 100. I'll probably use it when I'm pacing Lee at the Pinhoti 100 as well. It's a great headlamp that I highly recommend. Well, there we go. I hope you found this helpful. But yeah, thank you all so much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.